Volkswagen has raked in $92.4 billion in profits over 4 years, while Chattanooga workers face bankruptcy and medical debt just to survive, and that is a disgrace.
Big labor news in the Tennessee Valley right now is the UAW Volkswagen negotiations. Volkswagen released what they are calling their last, best, and final offer to the union a week and a half or so ago, something like that. And that offer includes a 20% wage increase over, I think, 4 years, an immediate $4,000 bonus once the contract is ratified, and top hourly wages increasing from $34 an hour in 2025 to $39.40 in 2029. The offer also includes a first-ever cost of living allowance that adds up to 45 cents per hour based on the local inflation rate. Additionally, the company is adding an 8% annual bonus for workers that meet the plant's attendance requirements. In 2024, 95% of Chattanooga employees qualified and received attendance bonuses, the company said. I am reading from the Tennessean. Volkswagen walks away from negotiation table with UAW after its Chattanooga offer. The article was written by Stuart Dios. You can check that out again on the Tennessean. Some of the workers are, it's unclear exactly what the reaction to it in the plant is at this point, but I do want to remind people some of the demands from the beginning of the negotiations: accountability and respect, higher health and safety standards, higher wages, better PTO and fair attendance policies, a secure retirement, moving forward, not backward, affordable health care, a UAW union-strong worksite, and job security. And importantly, the union is saying that a lot of these things have not been met yet, including job security and some of the safety things that they were wanting. Profit sharing is in the offer, but in such a way that Volkswagen would not have had to pay that profit sharing out the majority of the last several years. You can check out some other reporting about this in the Chattanooga Times Free Press. But all of this can really be summarized as the workers at Volkswagen in Chattanooga want parity with the other big three UAW automakers, including their counterparts at GM on the other side of the state in Spring Hill, who do have the standard big three UAW contract right here in the South, right here in Tennessee, right here in Spring Hill. There's been some recent investments in the GM plant. There's reason to believe that that's going to be expanding. I also want to play a clip from about 5 months ago where the UAW came out with some of the results from a survey that they did of their members, and how Volkswagen, and just as a reminder to let people know that Volkswagen has the money to meet the demands of the union. Let's play clip 2.
1 in 3 Volkswagen employees struggles to afford Volkswagen's garbage health insurance. Nearly 3 out of 4 have had to choose between getting medical care or paying for rent and food. 3 out of 4. More than half of Volkswagen employees have been driven into debt, drained their savings, or even filed for bankruptcy because of medical expenses. 1 in 5 Volkswagen employees have had to take a second job just to afford medical bills. 1 in 5 Volkswagen workers rely on publicly funded TennCare, Tennessee's Medicaid program, to insure their children. And this is happening at a company that raked in $20.6 billion in profit last year. A company that paid their CEO $11 million last year. Think about this. Under Volkswagen's current offer, it would take the highest paid production worker in Chattanooga 163 years to make what the Volkswagen CEO makes in just 1 year. But Volkswagen doesn't just lavish profits on company executives. There's also plenty to go around for rich shareholders. In fact, Volkswagen has shoveled $30 billion into shareholders' pockets over the last 4 years through stock buyback schemes and dividends. Volkswagen has billions for rich shareholders. They have millions for company executives, but when it comes time to take care of the workers who produce the profits and the products, suddenly management claims there's nothing left. Here's the hard truth. Volkswagen has raked in $92.4 billion in profits over 4 years, while Chattanooga workers face bankruptcy, eviction, and medical debt just to survive. That's not just corporate greed. That's theft. That is abuse. And that is a disgrace.
Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate.
So like I said, the UAW has not put out their full response to the contract, as in they haven't said if this is going to be enough. They haven't, given any indication on, how workers in the plant are reacting to this contract, but they did come out with a preliminary reaction that I'm going to play some of for you now. This is from the lead negotiator for the UAW, Chuck Browning. Let's play clip 3.
Last week, Volkswagen presented what they called a last, best, and final offer. Over the past 30 years of my bargaining experience, I have had dozens of companies present proposals to the UAW in the same manner. Historically, these offers have not been the last, nor the best, nor their final offer. The reason being is that regardless of what an employer names a particular offer, it does not relieve them of their legal obligation to bargain. Those words are meant as a stall tactic and an intimidation tactic. And as I have stated, we have seen it all before. This most recent proposal made by Volkswagen is an incomplete document that makes it very difficult to comprehend. There's language missing on many of the topics that has already been tentatively agreed to by your bargaining team in the company. The company has responded to the union that some of the language is missing due to administrative errors, and in other instances they have stated that they have withdrawn previously agreed to language with the UAW negotiating team. Your UAW bargaining team is in the process of reviewing every word in the company's proposal and has already identified the following items that have illegally been withdrawn by the company, such as COLA adjustments, reasonable cause protections for drug testing, the right to strike for health and safety, and a number of skilled trades items as a few examples. Were these items stricken because they were denied VW board approval after an agreement was reached with the UAW? Are there any items in the company's most recent proposal that will meet the same fate? It should be a real concern to all of us. Volkswagen continues to violate federal labor law, and as long as they refuse to bargain in good faith, they cannot force a contract on you. Aside from breaking the law by cutting a shift unilaterally, they have also unlawfully gone back on several agreed upon proposals, as I mentioned, in addition to giving us several incomplete proposals. As a result, your UAW negotiating team has initiated unfair labor practice charges against Volkswagen for refusing to bargain in good faith. I will make this point. If VW is willing to break their word at the table, you sure as hell need an enforceable contract that protects you on the shop floor. Which leads me to the next items I want to raise concerning the content of their most recent proposal. The company is trying to create the illusion that they have sufficiently addressed many issues of concern brought forward by the membership regarding job security, inflation protection, which is COLA, relief time, health care, and leased vehicles. The truth is, the company's recent proposal does not guarantee your employment, union status, or your negotiated contract in the event of sale of the operations in Chattanooga. It does not prohibit the company from eliminating the leased vehicle program, nor does it adequately address concerns regarding health care and inflation protection to your wages. There is no product commitment and no legitimate protection from a plant closing. Don't take my word for it. Ask the company. Any answer that is not a simple yes or no is disingenuous on the company's part. What good is a contract if the company can just get rid of you at any time of their choosing? Why should you settle for hollow promises when the company can simply make guarantees in writing? This is what a worker had to tolerate before they had a union. You are now part of the UAW family. That's not how it works with the rest of the UAW automakers and should not be how it works at Volkswagen. Now I'd like to address the UAW's process regarding strike authorization. I don't know for sure why the company would comment on the UAW's internal process, but I have my suspicions, as I'm sure you all do as well. I will simply state this. Our UAW Constitution mandates that requests to the UAW International Executive Board for strike authorization must be approved by a 2/3 majority vote of the membership by secret ballot. The cards that are being circulated are simply pledges to support strike authorization when the secret ballot vote takes place. This is to show the company that we are serious about winning a better life for ourselves and for our families. It doesn't mean we're going on strike. It doesn't mean we're walking away from negotiations. It means we're sticking together until we get what we deserve. We still hope we can achieve these goals without a strike. However, it is important that we prepare for one just in case. I was an auto worker on the assembly line for years before I was elected to a union position. I worked at my plant before it was unionized, and I have seen how life-changing the difference can be. But I also know that those changes do not come without a fight. In closing, I would like to thank our members for their overwhelming support by submitting their pledge cards. A decision to vote on a tentative agreement will be driven by the membership, not dictated by the company. If we stick together, we will win. Stay strong and keep the cards pouring in.
So I appreciated being able to see that response from Chuck Browning of the UAW, their lead negotiator. It is worth noting that the UAW Volkswagen Bargaining Committee, the bargaining committee is made up of workers from Volkswagen, are recommending a yes vote on strike authorization with the full backing of the International Union. He did mention that the pledge cards are going to inform union leadership about how many employees are interested in pursuing a vote on strike authorization, and that vote is what would actually be the thing that would authorize the strike, not these pledge cards. I also wanted to mention this in the Chattanooga Times Free Press, UAW taking temperature for strike at Volkswagen Chattanooga. The article is written by David Floyd. He quotes a worker, Ryan Heineman, a 3-year employee at Volkswagen. He said a strike authorization vote would be worth the risk. Nobody wants to go on strike, he said, but it could help bring the company back to the bargaining table. Volkswagen's offer feels like 1 step forward and 2 steps back for workers, Heineman said. The proposal, for example, doesn't include assurances about job security that many employees want, written in contract language. The proposal does include a commitment that VW will not close, curtail, or liquidate the Chattanooga plant during the term of the agreement, although there would be exemptions if conditions arise beyond the company's control. That could include a significant downturn in the economy, disasters like flooding, or technological changes that make production methods obsolete. And so you can see there's some concern about that. They also quote Caleb Michalski, a member of the bargaining committee, saying that the company has hit the goal only a handful of times in the past decade regarding the goal that was set for profit sharing, significantly lower than what they have at Ford and GM. And so it seems like, at the very least, some trepidation in the plant, but not a clear picture about what's going on there. I will say, as obviously y'all know that I'm not a representative of the UAW, but the UAW was not able to get what they got at the Big Three without striking. It's obviously best to strike. It's best not to strike if you can avoid it, because striking does hurt both parties. But many times, a strike is what it takes to bring an employer to the table. And we should not, as a labor movement, be scared about saying that. Our number one weapon is withholding our labor. That is fundamentally where unions get our power from, is our ability to withhold the labor that upholds society or whatever company we work for, or generates the profit for whatever enterprise we're a part of. That is fundamentally where our power comes from. And so naming that is not something that we should be scared of.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.